buy like .travel, .tips. I get GoDaddy sending me, oh, you should buy .tips and stuff. I think the .coms will always be the leading,
the gold standard.
The gold standard for domains is .com. So if you can get yourself one of those, I look at it like there's only so much property along the Southern California or the all of California coast that you can buy, and I look at that as like a .com. It's like maybe you bought it at a low number at the very beginning, but because sure you can go buy a house in Corona or Riverside or wherever, but still the place that everybody wants to go to and live is on the beach. Yeah, and that's kind of how I look at it. So with social media, take us and telling people how important it is for their business. Oh, I want to add one other thing real quick. When making that leap to Facebook, I remember, and I won't call them out by name, but several people that I said, you have to go over to Facebook. And this is why. I said, you can drop your URL in there, and then everybody in the feed will see it, and they'll just click on it and go right to what you're offering. And like MySpace doesn't allow that functionality at the time, at least.
But when MySpace was out, there was really not that what we call impressions now. Right. The impressions weren't really available. Right. It was like you had to scroll down to get to it, and it was really never a live feed or anything like that. But yeah, when Facebook started the whole live feed, that really changed the whole game, I think.
And then you'll have those people, well, I don't want to go on Twitter. Why would I do that? I said, just imagine Twitter is your news feed, and that's all it is. It doesn't have it has profiles and stuff, but it was like pulling teeth to get my friends to come over to Facebook. I said, MySpace is going away. Right. Get over here now. Yeah. That's how important it is.
There's no glittery animated GIFs.
No, there's no. As George and I like to comment on the show about another radio show website out there that looks kind of terrible. There are no Dancing Bananas on Facebook. Yeah. There's the Dancing Banana one. Is the little, he's like, peanut butter jelly time. And it's not like in the corner and, blinky lights and stuff. Okay, so I've given my little piece on social media and why I think it's important. And, if you are creating a brand for yourself and all that, give us your take, because this is something that you do on the daily for businesses and helping them out.
Okay, and I'm glad you asked it, because really what the first thing I tell anyone coming aboard, or when I sit down and meet with a new potential client or anything like that, the first thing I tell them is you have to have a good product. Right. Because a lot of the people that don't understand social media think it's a way to save their business. Right. And it's not. I tell them straight out. First thing, like if you want me to come in and save your business, it's not going to happen. Social media is not out there to save your business. It's another tool to engage your customers or your clients. If you have a bad product, people aren't going to buy a bad product. It doesn't matter how many times you tweet about it. Right. It just doesn't work that way. But so the first thing I always tell them is I'm not here to save your business. I'm here to engage with your clients, your customers, and potential clients and customers. Right. Another thing that I tell them is people are out there talking about you already. Don't you want to know what they're saying? Like, if you're not even if you don't even have a Twitter account or you don't have a Facebook page or anything like that, people are out there telling other people either your product's great or your product sucks, and you need to know, especially the times about if it sucks, you need to know why it sucks. Why aren't these people liking my product? Why do they hate us? Things
Maybe
like that.
How you can improve it.
Exactly.
Unless you're just a type of business owner that goes, this is the way it is, and you like it or get out of here.
And as far as I know to date, the only people that can say that is Apple.
I guess that's true.
That's the only company can say that.
This is how we're creating it. You want Flash on it? Sorry. You're not going to get Flash on your Apple product.
Don't care how many times you tweet about it.
That's right.
But yeah, the only people that can do that is Apple. So unless you're coming to me and you're Apple, then I don't know what else to tell other people. But people are out there talking about your company, talking about you if you happen to be a personal brand, I guess you could call it.
Sure.
But yeah, people are out there talking about you. So it's just getting on social media is the best and cheapest way to find out what your clients want, what your customers want. So you need to be there to engage that.
And the way that he put the cheapest way, and it's true, you can think of it all you want of, okay, I can sign up for free on all of these networks. I can sign up for free. So why do I need to pay this guy $2,000, $5,000 a month to do this for me? And all you have to do is look at what you're spending in advertising anyway. You can go to some magazine in town and they want to give you an eighth of a page for $400 a week, $800 a week, whatever. Just add that up. Okay, so it's $800 a week. That's $3,200 a month, and no one can click on that ad.
Yeah.
No one can look at that and go, click, I want to go. But with social media, you can create the brand the way you want.
Exactly.
You can change it instantaneously. There's no, we're going to have our next run.
It's easy to pivot with social media.
Sure.
Like, because let's go with the old school billboards.
Right.
When you had billboards and you needed to change something, you're like, oh, now I got to do new artwork. Now I got to get it to this guy. Now they got to get it to this person. There's all these deadlines that you got to hit to make a billboard happen.
Right.
And then even then, you're not able to see the engagement.
Right.
The great thing with everything being digital and things like that is you have what they call the page insights, or you have analytics that you can see. You can see if you need to make a certain little change here and there, you can, to increase your engagement.
Yep.
Billboard, you post it up there with a million other billboards, especially in this town, and nobody else has seen it.
No. The good thing about those, and I don't want to like entirely put them down, is they're good for edification. You know, there's this huge billboard of you, and people see it and they go, oh, look, they're on a billboard. Right. Or, oh, look, they're in this magazine. So that stuff, or they have a commercial on television or what have you. And then that stuff's good. But you have to have the social media. And I would go out and say that hiring someone like Wayne, or when I was doing it like myself, to help with that is because let's just take a notorious thing that's happened. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but there's a company in Arizona.
Okay.
Maybe you saw this on Kitchen Nightmares, called Amy's Baking Company.
I did. Yeah.
ABC, basically. Amy's Baking Company. And so basically, now I'm brain farting on his name. The chef. Gordon Ramsay. He goes in there and basically annihilates their business when they think that it's this wonderful thing. And they wanted him to come in there because tons of people were commenting that their store sucked on Yelp and other social media places.
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere. And then, so then the show hits, and everyone jumps on their Facebook page talking about, because the show was terrible. They just, the husband was yelling and screaming. Amy was screaming.
Yeah. I think it was the first one that he ever walked out on.
Yeah, I think that was it. He just left. He's like, I can't help these people. But basically, that as the show's airing and as it was done, their Facebook page just starts getting flooded,
blowing up.
And guess who's there to answer everybody's tweet and post?
Yeah,
the people that own the place,
the emotional owner.
Oh, emotional owner.
They have their emotions are vested in their product, their business, and now people, they feel like they're being attacked personally.
Right.
So when you're able to remove that emotion from it, you're able to get across a clearer message.
Right. You're able to talk from a different place. You're able to have some tact. In the way that you respond.
You don't have the stress of doing your day-to-day operations and then getting yelled at somebody online that you don't even know. So you're like, screw this guy.
Right.
I'm gonna go right back at him.
Right.
But you don't know at that time what the repercussions of what that's going to be, what that's going to entail. Because once it's on the internet, once it's out there, it's always out there.
If you didn't think that was true, there's a thing called screen capture. And people can easily do a screen capture of whatever you said, and then it's technically on forever. There was a little thing about Snapchat about that recently.
Exactly.
And really, you think that you're going to put a picture out there and it's going to go away forever? All the person has to do is do a screen capture of their phone, and now they have your nudie picture or whatever it was that you wanted. I'm sure I'm disappointing a lot of people out there. Like, no, you're giving away my secret, but. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what happens. So protecting your brand is important, and that's where somebody that's handling your social media can do it for you. You could think to yourself, well, I'm an adult. I can handle my own business. But what it does is it allows you to focus on making the bread or the widget or
whatever you need,
cleaning the pools or whatever, and let somebody else do that stuff for you. But the biggest part, and this is what I always found difficult when doing that, and kudos to you for continuing to do it, because it was the biggest irritant of mine. It was kind of what I talked about on the show yesterday about bands sending me material, and it's people sending you material for your actual work. If you're a social media person, you need that material from the companies.
Exactly. Yeah, I need your stuff. I need you to tell me kind of the continuity you want to keep,
right?
Because I don't want to get completely off track where when they see the stuff that I'm doing doesn't match what you're doing over here,
right?
I mean, it's always the continuity. And you brought up a great point when it helps you focus on baking your bread,
right?
Okay, if I need a bread, I mean, I can bake bread. I mean, I was in the hospitality business. I used to be a chef and everything. I can bake bread, but just for the argument's sake, if I need bread, I'm going to go out to a baker and get my bread.
Right.
I'm not going to sit there and waste 2 hours of my life because time's money in today's world. I'm not going to sit there and waste 2 hours of my time learning how to figure out how to bake bread or learning how to figure out how to do anything out there. But if you can hire an expert or someone that does this for a living, they already have the tools at their disposal. They've already figured all the tools out. And that's going to save you time and money to get back to your day-to-day operations that you need to worry about.
Right.
Because social media is it's not going to run your business. It's not, like I said, it's not going to improve your business or save your business if it's struggling. But it's another way of channeling and getting an open line of communication.
Right.
So you need someone there all the time that can help you manage that.
Right.
And that's where people like me come in.
And that open line of communication is important because once that you could have let's say you have something new. I want to try this out and see what it does. You're able to put that on social media, whether it's a discount or it's a buy one, get one or whatever it happens to be. And you're able to see an immediate response from that to see if what you're doing is going to be helpful to you. You could print let's say a coupon in a mailer, and you really don't know. Let's say they do mailers once a month. You don't know until the next month if that worked out for you or not. You've invested the money. Yeah. And I even have a business idea attacking that little industry, but I'm not going to tell anyone because it's not going to get stolen. I don't want that to happen. But anyway, you can print this coupon. You don't know if that's beneficial until people start bringing it in, and then if you could put that on your social media, same type of coupon, and you would know immediately if it's going to work.
Exactly. You'll know by the end of that night if people clicked it, and you'll probably know in about the next day if people are going to use it.
It's something that I don't really see all that often, to be honest with you.
Like the offers and things
like
that?
The offers. Yeah. I see people, let's say on Facebook, that talk about how great their store is. We just put up this new painting, or I don't know. Talk about what they have to offer, but they don't have anything. And it would be really simple. It's because there's certain things as you get into the social media world, and I guess it doesn't behoove me to tell anyone what those things are because these are secrets that you might want to keep. No. But like if you put up a coupon of some sort, certain things get more views than others. The way that you post them on Facebook, if you don't want to pay for your postings, which you can do too. But it would be beneficial to do something and just say print it off the page and bring it with you, and you would know that night if it was good.
Yeah, like you said, it's a great way. I mean, you just get around it. You don't even necessarily have to pay Facebook to handle the offer part. Just post a picture.
Right.
I mean, there's been many studies where if you're just posting text nowadays, you're falling way behind. You're falling behind in the feed. Nobody's liking it because there's no content there behind it, really.
Right.
I mean, if you're not either doing pictures at the very least, you're way behind. Videos where it's going next, obviously.
Sure.
I mean, because people want to be engaged, they want to see pretty stuff. So,
like us, pretty stuff on video. We're way past the curve. We've got a handle. George's smiling over there. He's like, yeah, I know what's going on. But the point you're bringing up is it's true. People they're wondering, why aren't my posts getting any views? And I always have to keep going back to people when they ask me these questions. I said, okay, let's just analyze the word for a second. Social media. It has to be social. So if you're not social, you're not out there engaging in other people and other things, or actually if have a fan page and you engage there, then no one cares. You're not being social. All you're doing is yelling at people. Look at me, look at me.
Yeah, and you're just inundating them with information they probably don't even want.
They're like, they may want it, but they are just looking at it. They're not giving it a thumbs up. They're not retweeting it. They're just like, okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you give them something engaging and something that they want to hear about, and you've written it a certain way, or you provide a nice picture or whatever, then they're like, oh, I like that, or I want to hear more. Yeah. And then they go to your website. and they click on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Give them something enticing. Give them the little worm on the hook or something,
Right.
and give them something that might get them there. Like, to give you an instance, I'll let everybody know. I mean, this will be an announcement basically, but we're starting with the Hunt Las Vegas. We're going to start public tours downtown.
Okay.
Behind that, we're behind that whole thing is we're doing a campaign of top secret. I'm the one going in there personally making the images. It might take 30 minutes to make a nice little image to help promote this thing, but it's all about the image. It's all about getting that eye. Like, oh, what is that?
Right.
You know, why is it top secret? What's going on? You know, just to get that initial interest is what you're aiming for.
Well, so let's segue into that. You with the Hunt, you've even done that with. George is distracting me with what he's looking at on his computer over there.
He's looking at pictures.
He's like a politician looking at.
Exactly.
See, so
he's looking at the one of the best things to post to get content and engagement. Half naked.
Half naked girl will always get you engagement from people, thumbs up and all that.
Exactly.
It may have nothing to do with what you're offering though,
Right.
but it doesn't matter. But the Hunt is a really cool concept. But even with that, you're keeping it a bit secretive, if you will, because if you go to Honey Hunt, who's Honey Hunt? You don't know. It's a silhouette of somebody standing next to a light, a lit up sign. So, and I think that's the concept of it, right?
Exactly.
That there's a concept to it, but it's not necessarily a person that you're attaching to it.
Right.
It's a black silhouette of somebody waving their arms in the air or something.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Well, you're saying you brought up Honey Hunt. Basically, Honey Hunt she's one of our best clue creators. You might not know that because she doesn't really breathe air.
Right.
But she has her own Facebook page.
Right.
So when it comes to other businesses out there, if they have mascots or anything like that, the best thing you can do is maybe not necessarily create a friends page, because Facebook doesn't really like that when you start making fake people on Facebook.
Right.
But it helps the engagement. It helps. It brings brand engagement. It adds life to something that might not already be there.
I think one of the only other times I had seen something like that was Revolver.
Okay.
They have instead of like a normal ball, a mirrored ball, it was like an armadillo or something.
Okay.
And it was named Delilah.
Yeah. Okay. I knew where you're going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Delilah would contact and retweet your stuff, and you're like, "Who the hell is this Delilah character?" It's an armadillo, a mirrored armadillo that hangs from the ceiling.
Mirror encrusted armadillo.
Exactly.
But, hey, it works.
But the cool thing about the Hunt is it takes that mindset of the scavenger hunt. What a great place to do it, Las Vegas. I mean, it allows, if you've never come here before, or you have come here before, and maybe you just get stuck at a certain place, and maybe you're in your hotel the whole time, it gives you this way of exploring the city.
Right. Yeah, because what we do with that, what the primary idea behind it is, you can walk out of the Bellagio porte cochere and see basically 40% of the landmarks we have in Vegas.
Right.
You know, we try and point out the things you might not see. You might walk by.
Right.
But it's still interesting.
Sure.
Especially with everything going on downtown. That's why we're moving we're going to start public hunts downtown. But right now, most of our stuff's private corporate team building type stuff.
Sure.
But the idea behind it is to get people out there to see the city. I love this city. I really, really, really love this city.
You've been here about 7 years, right?
7 years this time, and I went to elementary school out in Green Valley when I was younger. But so there's always been this city sort of always brought me back. And the reason being is because there's always something changing. There's always something to do. You know, I mean, you go out of town, I go out of town.
Right.
My girlfriend will go out of town, and a bar will close at midnight. I mean, we're like, what's going on here? Why are the lights on?
What's last call?
Yeah.
Never heard of that one before.
Or they'll have we'll be listening to their local radio station up in like the Bay Area. I mean, the Bay Area is a pretty big thing. We were up there for like 2 weeks, and all we heard was the same commercial over and over and over for the same Drake concert coming like a month later.
Right.
You know, that was all that was going on.
Right.
When you're here, I can look at my phone. I don't know who's performing tonight, but I'm sure I want to see it.
It's the funny thing is, you know, let's take Facebook for example. All the events that you get added to, I'm sure that other places don't have these same problems.
Right.
Because all these casinos are competing for everybody's dollar. So you're going to have 8 well-known people in town, and you're like, you feel like a rag doll. Where should I go?
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll say I'm maybe on everything, and depending on what side of town I'm at, that's where I'm going.
Right. I'm always a maybe. Can you make it? I'll try.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the good thing is you show up, they're like, oh, you're here.
Exactly.
We didn't think you'd show up at our thing, and you feel
instead
like
of saying like, I'm going to everything, and then next thing you know, when next time you see that person, like, why didn't you come?
Yeah. Why did 60 people say they were coming and 5 are here? You know, and you're like, well, I was just trying to be nice and say I was going, but I'm like, you're not doing me any favors by just clicking that you're going. Just know that what's happening, and that's all, and maybe just click maybe or try to come or something.
Because there's still those people that use those numbers to buy their stuff for their party or their event or whatever, and next thing you know, they're buying too many taco shells.
They've got 60 gift bags and 5 people to give them to.
Exactly.
So
it, like you said, be a little courteous about if you're actually going to go to something or not.
Right. So and now the hunt has been going on for a number of years.
Yeah, almost 2.5 years.
2.5 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you a part of it from its inception?
I was not, unfortunately.
Okay.
I came aboard probably a little under a year ago. Little under a year ago.
The funny thing is, just like with Honey Hunt, you never know who is part of the hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen you, I've seen Sarah, I've seen Jules. I'm sure there's other people, but they're mysterious.
Well, that's they are. We try and keep it anonymous. No, I'm just kidding. We're a growing company, so one of the best things about having a startup is you're able to try again.
Right.
And one of the most important parts of a startup is getting the right people in the right spot.
Right.
If you don't have the right people in the right spot, you're just going to be turning your wheels. You're going to be bumping heads. It's not good.
Right.
But right now, the primary team is myself, my beautiful girlfriend Jules.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Oh yeah, thank you. Well, actually, she's the one that started the company.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, she's the
and that's the
powerhouse behind it.
That's the thing about social media that you don't know. The first time I ever knew their interaction, she's wearing a helmet, he's wearing a hot dog outfit or something like that, and they're doing a Harlem Shake video.
Had to do the Harlem Shake.
I thought that was the only time that was the first time they met, but there's more history to it than that.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
That was another one of our fun times with one of our mutual friends, Michelle.
Okay. Yes. Who? Michelle's awesome. Michelle is who I'm going to introduce George to.
Oh, very
Same
nice.
one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, but where were we?
We were talking about your beautiful girlfriend. I think that's what we're talking about. But she's part of the hunt.
Great. Now I get to hear that one.
I'm sure she's going to hear and go, maybe. I bet you she's blushing right now because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Mine does it too. So.
Okay, good.
So she started the hunt, okay, and with that concept of this is something that's not going on out here.
Right. There are people that are out here trying it.
Okay.
The good thing about both of us is we both come from hospitality backgrounds.
Right.
It's kind of like one of those things everybody thinks they can be a DJ if they can play an iPod.
Sure.
Type thing. So a lot of companies will come out of nowhere thinking they can put together a list of things and sell it and make money and be done with it.
Sure.
But we understand hospitality. I have a bachelor's degree in hospitality management. She's ran high-profile hotels up in the Bay Area in Northern California. Wedding planner, all this stuff. She has great credentials behind her as well. So we understand the hospitality business. We understand you can't just give a product and say okay and be done. You have to. It's the whole experience is what people are paying for, and that's what we aim to do.
Right.
We aim to make sure we sit there and we walk everybody through the registration process from start to finish. We're on the actual route the whole time. We're out there. We're answering questions. I mean, we've done groups of 300 people. So when you have 300, 400 people running around the strip, you sort of need to control that.
Sure.
Because, I mean, you don't want to – last thing you want is someone like Bellagio or somebody going, well, what are all these people doing in here?
Right. And you have established your relationships with them and saying, hey, this is what's going to occur, but we're going to keep them under control.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we really aim to do is make sure everybody's happy. We want to make sure our client has the best time. We want to make sure their team has the best time. Their family has the best time. They might be doing it for their sister's birthday, or they might be doing it for a pal's bachelor party or something like that. So we're really trying to make sure everybody's happy at the same time. And I'll attest to myself. I mean, every time, I've seen it a couple times, is when we always have that person that's like, oh, bah humbug, I don't want to do this. Somebody
Really?
signed it.
Yeah, I hate those people.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Debbie Downers.
Yeah,
we don't like you. Go home.
Yeah,
it's Vegas. We party and have a good time.
Vegas, exactly. That's what I try and tell people. Don't worry about it. Like,
right.
Whatever bill you have due, it's still due when you get back home.
Right.
Don't worry, it's not going anywhere.
It's like an interactive movie when you get here.
Good point. I never thought of it like that. That's awesome. But by the end of our hunts last 3 hours, by the end of it, that person had the best time.
Right.
Because it brought them out of their shell.
Right.
It brought them whatever they had on their mind or whatever. Most of the time they're hungover.
That makes everybody feel better.
Exactly.
Except the next morning, I guess.
Yeah. Gatorade and 5-hour energy drink, by the way. Good tip.
Is that what it is?
That's what I found it to be.
You don't have to go to some unmentionable name person that's pushing some product.
You mean?
I'm not. Well, you can say it. If you
I know what you mean. I know
but
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you?
No, you don't have to spend $100 to have somebody come to your hotel room with a syringe.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Let's stick a needle in you.
Yeah.
So 5-hour energy, any flavor? Or they're all
well, my favorite color, so I always get the red one.
The red.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's always got to be the red. But yeah. But back to the hunt. It's we try and just make sure everybody's having a good time.
Right.
We're there facilitating everything. We never make it feel like they're on their own or anything like that. A lot of because we have seen competitors pop up. Like I'm not going to mention any names. They last 3-4 months and then
they go away.
It was just a silent whisper. Their domains, their website's still up, but hasn't been updated forever. So stuff like that.
Yeah, they haven't. They entered it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
You looked at it, you're like, we're from hospitality. What is it that our end consumer is going to want?
Right.
Rather than the end consumer has some money. How do we get
that
it?
Money. Yeah. Why? That's exactly a perfect way to put it. We look at it how we can make people happy. How can we show them our city? How can we show them the highlights that we enjoy when they're in town?
Right.
Like, what's going to make it where they want to go back to their city and say, oh, I saw Liberace's piano encrusted in a million Swarovski crystal.
Right.
Or whatever it is. But things like that people might not necessarily know is there. They might pass it up. They don't understand. They're in town for 2-3 days. There's a lot in the city. There's a ton.
I told people it's no secret. Maybe it is a secret, but hey, I'm announcing it, and so it's not a secret anymore. I've driven a taxi in this town on and off for several years, and that's one of the things that people told me. They got here because their travel agent from wherever they were said, "Oh, you only need a couple of days," especially if they were from another country. I said, "No, you need a minimum of a week."
Yeah.
2 if you can pull it off, because unlike other countries, the United States, we never get week vacations. 2-week vacation. This is a foreign concept to the business owners out here, but other places do have those lengthy
luxuries.
Yeah, and if you can go for a week or 2, there are tons of things to do, whether they're outdoors, indoors. If you're a partier, that's the cool thing about Vegas is there's something for everyone. You have both ends of the spectrum. You've got the Riviera and you've got the Wynn. And they're basically a 5-minute walk between the two of them, but they're worlds apart.
Exactly.
And you have everything in between. So whatever your budget is, there's something for you. And I'm sure that you have different packages too that fit those people.
Yeah, we have all the packages. Our lowest package goes to $49 a person for what we call the on foot, which basically includes a clue booklet, a customized lanyard if it's for a party or for a bachelorette party or whatever it is, a birthday. We always customize every aspect, and then at the end of it, if you break up into teams or anything like that, you get a customized medal.
Okay.
So we put that competition behind it as well to make sure everybody still has that fun aspect.
Sure.
We want to make sure everybody's enjoying it. So our lowest one's $49, and then we go up in increments of $10-$20 every now between, and then we have one of our highest packages is $199.
Okay.
That includes a limo tour. So basically, you're not stuck in a geographical spot on the strip,
right?
Because the way we do our smaller on foot hunts is we like to keep it within a Vegas City block, which happens to be like 10 blocks everywhere else for some reason.
It is. But yours is between Flamingo and Harmon, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So we try and keep everything in a in a city block. So we usually tell people about 2 or 3 miles. You're expecting to walk about 2 or 3 miles to wear comfortable shoes. And if that's not something you want to do, and you want to see more of the city, we have tours that include ways of getting from the Strip to downtown Las Vegas.
Sure.
Which, if everybody knows out there, it's starting to pick up and become quite popular.
Don't walk between Stratosphere and downtown.
Right. Exactly.
Unless you like bail bonds, motels, and wedding chapels.
Right.
That's what's there.
Which we actually do use one of those wedding chapels on our hunt because it's one of the more popular ones.
It's well known, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Maybe drive through. I'm not sure.
It most likely is. We love Miss Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte. Oddly enough, I had her in my cab one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to talk to her all because I was taking her from her house. I guess it was in Summerlin or something all the way to the airport.
Oh,
anyway,
nice.
It's a side note. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte. We love her. We every time we go there,
she's a cool person.
Exactly, and call her at 9:00 at night. She'll answer the phone.
Yep.
She's a beautiful person. But yeah. So like you said, you might not want to walk between those areas.
That's right.
So that's why we offer the limo hunt.
Okay.
Which is $199, and that gets you
per person.
Per
correct.
person.
Okay.
Per person. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. These prices are per person. I do apologize. And if you might not know, it is one of the cheapest things to do in Las Vegas for a great time. I've been told that personally. Yes.
Well, the thing is that you can come here, and I would tell this driving. I've mentioned 3 times about doing cab driving, but anyway,
feeling nostalgic.
Yeah, back in the day. But the thing that you don't want to do when you're here, I mean, you will for what you're doing because there are things to do while you're on this walking tour.
Yeah, you don't even realize it's 3 hours.
Right.
You don't. It's insane how fast.
But in general, if you're just going from one place to another, the whole walking thing is overrated. There's no point to do it. But on the hunt, you're going in and doing things. But if you're going to go from the Strip to downtown, you should do the limo tour for sure because that's not a fun walk.
Yeah, and if that's not quite in your budget, we also have other tours where we offer our public transportation is awesome. The Express Deuce.
Oh yeah.
It costs $7 for the whole day, a 24-hour. We throw it into one of our packages, and basically it picks up in front of like Paris Hotel, and it shoots you straight downtown.
Right.
So if that's
drops you in front of like Golden Nugget or something like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it puts you right up in the Golden Nugget, and we'll basically do the first half of the hunt on the Strip, the more popular Strip, the movie Strip, if you will.
Right.
And then you hop on the bus and you wind up downtown and you do another part of the hunt downtown.
Which is it's funny about downtown because it's basically like 2 downtowns now.
Yeah.
Which is making it even more with Slotzilla because then you can't see the other part of it.
No, you can't.
But you've got Fremont Street Experience, which is everything under the canopy, and then you've got Fremont East, which is the entertainment district. So, which is cool because that's where a lot of the Tony Hsieh and Downtown Project and stuff is going on down there.
Yeah, the artsy stuff. The hipster part, if you will.
Humidity, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it is hipster-ish, but I think that you're hearing good and bad from different people, but I think it's all good. I'm going on record saying it's all good right now.
Oh yeah,
because no one wanted to go there before. Nobody.
No.
That it was like, you want me to go where? Anywhere? Maybe the bunkhouse they might want to go to, but it in itself was it was one building. You didn't want to walk around it because there was just seedy people, and I mean, all people are good, but be seedy if you want, but don't bother people.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I just happened to be downtown too, and I'm just sitting there. I was GPSing where I was actually coming. First time here today, so I needed to find out where I was coming, and I'm sitting there in my car. And next thing I know, a guy walks up. Can you give me money? I'm like, I'm actually in a hurry. I'm sorry, I don't have cash on me. I got to run.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, it's so it still has that aspect of it, but it feels like it's like being pushed out, sort of in a way.
Gentrification.
Exactly. So I'm not sure if that's a good part of it, but I definitely like what we're doing with downtown. So that's why we highlight on that part of the area on our tours, because a lot of people have heard the seediness, or you might want to have a concealed weapon when you're down there or whatever.
Right.
But that part of that part of downtown is going away, and that's what we want. That's one of the reasons why we're doing the public tours down there. We want to highlight that, and we want to highlight it in a different way where people can enjoy it.
There's tons of things, and if you from your town, if you're used to, because I always was getting this back in the day, where do we go bar hopping? Because we got to go between each major casino on the Strip, and that's the cool thing about Fremont East is that you can bounce between. And I don't even drink and I know these things, but you can bounce between downtown Cocktail Room, the Griffin, Park on Fremont. You can have some food at La Comida, La Tai. If you want some coffee, you can go to the Beat. You know, there's arts, there's emergency arts, there's all sorts of stuff that are down there. That and you were mentioning about pushing out, and I would prefer, and maybe I'm just lofty thinking here, but I would prefer to think of it could be. Instead of pushing out, it's just saying, listen, we're just doing something different, and we'd like you to come in, just, you know, put on some shoes. You know.
Or no service.
No shoes, no shirt, no service.
Right, yeah.
Chud. So that's that's the cool thing about there. So there's technically like 3 different areas in Vegas that people will go to. The Fremont East, Fremont Street Experience, and then the Strip.
Right.
And technically... Here's some little trivia for you. The Strip is not part of Las Vegas.
Exactly.
It just is called that. It's in unincorporated Clark County, and it doesn't have a city. The city starts basically on Sahara, and you go north of Sahara where the stratosphere, and that's the city. And it goes west and all that too. But
yeah. And thanks to Facebook, a lot of people are learning that, because if you go there and you post and you have your location turned on, it says you're posting from Paradise, Nevada.
They're like, Paradise?
Where the hell?
Winchester? What is this?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
Those
Facebook.
are the townships that don't have anything other than they're just townships. They go, we don't want your rules here, even though the police still.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic here in the Las Vegas area. So you've got 2 different things going on. You've got the Hunt Las Vegas. You've got your own thing, Atmo Media. Both of the links to those and the social media show you can find on the page I've created for Wayne on the JeremyWomackShow.com. Let's give people a little bit of your background, because you touted up your girlfriend a bit, but you didn't do anything for yourself. So I've known him from everywhere from New York, doing food and beverage there, Rock Vegas, if any of you are familiar with that, and you came down and partied at New York. It was their nightclub, aside from Coyote Ugly.
Yeah. Now it's a Swatch store. Very sad.
Yeah, it's very sad, because it was a pretty cool venue. It was small and intimate, but you could have a good time there. And then you've worked Grand Lux, all sorts of stuff. I mean, so go into that a bit. I mean, your progression from doing that and whatever you picked up from that, and maybe little things that didn't go exactly how you wanted it to, and then now you're doing your own thing, which I am always a big proponent of. To do your own thing,
right?
Because it's like buying a house. Unless you can't pay your mortgage, you're going to be in it forever. Because there's no landlord going to come kick you out of your own house or your own business. So go ahead.
Well, it really actually starts. It actually starts before my hospitality. It starts when I was 13. Really, I went in to get my computer fixed one time, and didn't know what was going on with it, upgraded. It was acting too slow, and I was 13. I was like, this computer sucks right now, so I need to get an upgrade. So I went into a little mom and pop shop, and I was interested in sort of learning it, so I asked them, hey, can I come back there and watch you guys do what you do? At the time, I didn't know anything about computers, so I'm like, I'm going to come back there and watch what you do. So I took a couple days of them, ordering parts, getting the parts in, putting them in. This was back before Windows 95, really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
46.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of 46 DX 66. Yeah, if you will.
A lot of numbers and letters.
But yeah, so and then I started to stay there after that, and then I started helping out, and they didn't have the money to pay me. They were actually bouncing actual employees' checks. So
wow, it's always nice.
Exactly,
but they did have things that you could learn, so that was almost like being paid.
Exactly, and I started getting paid in computer parts.
Okay,
so I was grateful for that. I had one of the best gaming machines at the time. So because I was working it off, but. So it really started then. So I spent a lot of times doing stints, not switching around. I like to stay at a place for 2 to 3 years, if you will. After that, I start to get bored, and I start to, I don't know if you call it burnout, but I start to get antsy.
It's the same thing day in and day out. So you're just like, why do I want to keep?
Yeah, I'm just going through the motions.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I'm not learning anything.
Right.
So after doing that for a little bit, I was like, I need to do something, a little career change. So I was always playing around with the food world, or really interested in cooking and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a career change. I went to school. I went and got my associate's degree in culinary arts,
Mm-hmm.
and my bachelor's in management
Okay.
for that. And after that, I learned about a little program here that was put on by MGM Mirage at the
Okay.
time, now MGM Resorts International,
Mm-hmm.
called MAP.
Okay.
It stands for their little management associate program.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that here. I'm very grateful for that. I barely got in by the skin of my teeth. It was a super hard application process. Like 500 people apply nationwide. There was only
Right.
50 of us got in that year. Because they go around and they shop all the big hospitality schools to get people into it, because they're really looking for good talent.
Sure.
So I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
Right.
I would not change anything
Right.
about that for in my life. So I did that. I was at Monte Carlo. I was accepted at Monte Carlo to do the training program, and then I was hired on as assistant manager, wearing a ton of different hats. My boss at the time, who taught me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us wore a lot of different hats because he liked to make sure we were efficient.
And good at a lot of different things.
Good at a lot of different
Yeah.
things. I'm saying that because we were just spread thin. But
You're being nice.
I'm being nice. Yeah.
Oh, so nice of you.
But well, that was the word on our side.
Sure.
So he probably wouldn't think that, but he
Sure.
was like, "Oh, I'm saving tons of money on all these different
That's right.
all these assistant manager jobs that aren't filled, but everybody else is doing them." So
Take you
great.
from we're bringing you in to do one thing. Now we're going to give you 5 things to do.
Exactly.
And pay you the same.
Exactly. But hey, it's
Experience.
Experience,
Again, you're getting computer parts.
exactly. No, at the time I was actually getting little bottles of mayonnaise from room service. No.
Which is equivalent to making a very high performing game system when you're 13.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was doing that, and I was in the in-room dining there.
Mm-hmm.
I was in their cafe. At the time, now it's called the pub. Then it was called the brew pub.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always switching around, filling in where I could, helping out clients, or not clients, helping out customers that are doing complaints. I remember there would be nights where I would be in room service dealing with something, and next thing I know, I'm getting a call from the buffet or something. I got to
Okay.
go over there and handle it. So
Gotta
I'm
help
just
out everywhere
always
you
running
can.
around, and this is at an early age. So
Sure.
the way I saw it, I was like, I really didn't care that I was doing all this, because I'm learning. Like
Right.
this is like being like, I'm just getting it pushed in me. Like
Right.
I'm not even I can't even process it right now, but I'm sure it'll help me out sooner or later.
Sure.
So I was just running around doing as much as I could and helping out anywhere I could. So after that, then I went to the Wynn. That place was a little too red tapey for me.
Okay.
Burnt me out like that.
Right.
Like I was just done in no time in that place. So then I went to New York,
Mhm.
where I really wanted to learn the beverage floor, the
Sure.
beverage side of things, because I'd always been in the back of the house as a chef.
Sure.
During my school time, I was at a country club in Florida. And then I switched over to the beverage floor,
Okay.
where I absolutely love that job. Because as I was running around, I had 9 bars.
And you
that
get
I
to
wound
interact
up-
with people
Right.
a lot more.
Yeah, I was brought on as an assistant manager there, and then I just worked hard as I could every day. And then my boss at the time, Michael Kennedy, who still sort of mentors me to this day, he actually fought for me to get me a beverage manager job.
Was that like one of the first times I think that we met was I think I went to go see Zumandy or something.
Right.
And then after you're like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here, and we were tweeting, and that's how we were finding
Yeah,
each
exactly,
other.
yeah.
So we need you to come down and have a drink and all that. So and that's kind of where it went from there.
Yeah.
So you learned a lot there and
I learned a ton there.
went over to Rock and
Went over to Rock. I learned the nightlife there. That unfortunately wasn't open long enough for me to really do what I wanted to do with the
Sure.
space. So I got kind of frustrated with it. Because it did get closed down. Unfortunately, I didn't think at the time, and I hope this doesn't come back to bite me, but I don't think MGM has too much red tape in place to actually legitimately run a nightclub
on their own. You mean
on their own,
Right.
because it was the only MGM owned and operated nightclub,
Right.
at the time. So I tried to do a lot of things, and I kept getting a lot of resistance, so it frustrated me a lot.
Sure.
And then it finally just closed, and I was like, okay, I'm just done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then that took you over to Grand Lux.
They took me to Grand Lux, and after being really enjoying what I had at New York, I went to Grand Lux to get, I guess what you could say, better hours.
Right.
and I did get better hours, but but when I was at New York, I had 9 bars and a nightclub under me and 2 Starbucks.
Sure.
I'm busy all the time, running around doing a million things. When I got to Grand Lux, I'm in 4 walls, and they gave me, I would say, a 30-foot long, the kitchen window to expedite, and that was basically my everyday job. And I was like,
you're like, please, somebody come down and visit with me. I'm bored.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just all about volume there. It was, and I really didn't see ways of improving the business and using my mind to actually like, hey, I have this idea. Hey, I have this idea. Hey, I have this idea, which I've always done. And there, I didn't get the feeling that I was able to do that because they have their thing. They have their thing set up to make their money and
not open for new
exactly.
suggestions.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you were able to take all of this information that you've learned from putting computers and stuff together, all the way to managing restaurants and the F&B, the food and beverage for casinos, and taking all that hospitality industry information and putting it into these 2 new projects.
Right, exactly.
The Hunt, Las Vegas, again, which you are COO of, and then your own Atmo Media, which is basically helping people brand themselves and their business and their social media.
Right.
So, again, you can get all this information. Go to the JeremyWomackShow.com. You'll see his eyeball. This is the picture. And then you can find out all this information about Wayne. If you'd like to hire him for your social media needs, you can do so through the atmomedia.com website. And then also, if you want to go on these really cool scavenger hunts, you can go to the Hunt Las Vegas or
if you don't want to type very much, we also got huntlv.com, which will redirect.
huntlv.com, that'll redirect to the website, and you can find out all the things that they're doing there. Prices.
We like to do we like to customize a lot of our stuff, so we don't have the prices up.
So you contact them and you say, this is what I've got going on, whether it's a small party or you're a business coming out here for a convention, and you're like, we want things our employees to do when on their free time. Be perfect for that. So we're almost out, George. About a minute. Okay. So again, known Wayne for a long time. Always a good guy. I've never had any qualms. I've sometimes you have that in this town.
Oh yeah.
I had some. I didn't have the drink that night, but I had some great red velvet pancakes. I thought they were everything at Grand Lux is massive and phenomenal food. But I'm glad that it's all that information helped, or all the learning and training has helped you go on with this stuff.
Yes.
And also, if you want to learn more about social media, you can check out the show, the social media show.com. And what is that? Is that the hours for that, or?
Well, it's short interviews. It's going to be we're switching formats where it's going to be a little shorter, like interviews that come out. Instead of a long formatted show, so it'll be easier for people to consume. Okay,
cool. Thanks, guys, for hanging out today. Tomorrow we'll be back at the same time at 1 p.m. We're going to have Trainer Joe on the show. If you want to know all about cool health stuff, she's the one to talk to. She's been doing it for a long time. So make sure to tune in 1 p.m. Monday through Friday, the Jeremy Womack Show, JeremyWomackShow.com. Thanks, guys.